then I went through more and more things, and it started to get harder and harder to understand, really, that I was so messed up. I was so messed up. I was trying to hold on to God as much as I could. I was trying to just see God in anything. But when I finally realized, way back then, when he told me that that was one thing that was keeping himself from me fully in my life, I was like, wow. It took me to a complete stop. And God's like, no, really. How much longer do you want to run from me? How much longer do you want to run from the passion, from the plan, from the vision, from the dreams that I've put in your heart? How much longer are you going to run? And I said, I don't want to run anymore. I don't want to run anymore. It's going to be hard because I am severely addicted to sugar. Severely. And, I was gaining weight left and right. I was, it wasn't even sugar at that point. It was just anything I could get my hands on. And then, but sugar was the big, big thing. I needed it. I thought I needed it. But only until I finally got to the point where I didn't need it anymore, and I put my hope and strength and everything that I put into sugar way back onto God, that's when my life changed. That's when my life changed. That is the difference between putting your life on God but still holding on to what you want to hold on to. And it doesn't make sense. Now on the other side, after all of that, I'm on the other side of it, and I'm going, wow, I wasted so much when I could just say yes to God in the first place. When I should have said yes to God, the very first time he told me to do something. Now, he said, he knows everything about me. He knows that it's just my personality to want to do it my own way in the first place. That's, even my parents can tell you that. They can tell me 10 things over and over and over again. I'd be like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'll whatever them to death until it actually is staring me in the face, and I'm like, oh, I should have listened to them. Oh, imagine that. Imagine that. And my mom is shaking her head. Yep, I have a very stubborn kid. God is like, yeah, Tiff is very stubborn, but I know how to get her. I'm going to start moving things out of the way. I'm going to start, telling her that I love her so much. And she knows that, but I'm really going to bring it home for her. I'm going to start taking things away from her life that she thinks she holds more dear than me. And I'm going to remain that true love in her life. And I'm going to make her, and let her, not make her, but I'm going to let her see how much of a life she's missing when I'm not in it. So it took me to that moment where I had to choose between God wanting every single bit of me, like down to the very last part. And then I had to choose the other way between sugar, friends, whatever I was into, just being lazy. That was another idol, just being lazy and not being productive, not being anything, but just existing. God's like, do you just want to exist? Or do you want to have a life full of freedom, and a life full of joy, and a life full of passion, that when anybody looks at you, they look at me first, instead of they look at you, then I'm in there somewhere. When you look at somebody, or when you meet somebody for the first time, do they see Jesus? Do they see God? Or do they see him mixed in there somewhere, and they have to pull it out? If they're going to have to pull it out, because somewhere or another, that line's going to be struck where you're actually going to stand up for God. But you're going to have that confidence enough to be like, I am God's kid, and I don't care. I don't care what I've been. I don't care that if you think who I was, you're looking at a new product. You're looking at a new person. You're looking at who God has made me to be right now. Not 10 years ago, not a year ago, not even a month or a week or a day ago. You're looking at who God is naming now, right this second. And that's how good God is. That's how good God is. But it took that choice for me, in my life, personally, to be like, I want people to look at God when they look at me. So I don't matter. I'm just a shell in a body. I'm just here. If anything good comes from me, it's God. And that's just where I want to keep it. That's just where I want to keep it. Because then, if it's my own self, my own will, I start messing things up left and right. And, my stubborn self will think I'm right, and I won't let God work in anything in my life, and nothing's going to happen. I'm just, I can make things happen. I can say, okay, this is going to get done, this is going to get done, this is done. But God's like, what about the other 3 things that you missed in the first 3 things that you wanted to do in the first place? And you're just totally messed up. You can't have one leg and how your mind is, and the other leg and what God wants you to think. Because then that will start creating confusion, because the devil knows that. The devil knows that. And the devil's going to try to get you off course any single time that he can. So, anyway, I'm going to go into John 10, and hopefully this all correlates somewhere. John 10, and I'm going to go into I'm going to go into John 7. So Jesus said to them again, "Truly, truly, I say to you, I am the door of the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. If anyone enters through me, he will be saved, and will go in and out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I came that they might have life and have it abundantly." In number 11, it says, "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. He who is a hired hand and not a shepherd, who is not the owner of the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees, and the wolf snatches them and scatters them." Now there's a funny thing about that. There's a funny thing about that.